Hey guys, it's Troy. Welcome to another video. Quick one today. I want to talk about discipline versus talent and just underline the fact that discipline is more valuable than talent. Okay, discipline is more valuable than talent, right? This is something else that gets underlined in David Goggins' book, Can't Hurt Me, which I was talking about in the video yesterday. He talks again and again about the requirement for discipline and for getting up and going after the things that you want. And you might think, well, that's great, but there are people out there who are uniquely talented in this particular field, whatever that particular field is. So it might be social skills, but equally it might be playing the tuba or playing the piano or running or fighting or writing or whatever, right? Whatever the thing is, okay? You might think, well, okay, but some people are born better than others at this particular thing. Those people have the advantage. I wasn't one of those people, so I don't. Okay, so what am I going to do? Am I going to lay on the floor and curl up in a ball and cry? Or am I going to try to do something a bit more productive instead? All right, now, here's the thing. Yes, it's true that there are people who are born innately talented in different fields. Now, if we're looking at this from the perspective of dating and relationships and all of that good stuff, then yes, you can say, okay, there are guys who are charismatic, naturally charismatic. There are guys who are naturally fated by women. They get female attention. They've been getting female attention from a young age. Okay, that is undeniably true and nobody's disputing that. And yes, we can also say there are guys who are good looking, and as a result of them being good looking, they also receive and have received excess attention from women that certain other people don't have. So nobody's denying that. That's absolutely true. But, and this is the point that Goggins makes, and it's a point that has been made elsewhere as well. Yes, it's great to be innately talented. Sure. But if you don't do anything with that innate talent, then you're not really going to end up in a much better position than the person who perhaps isn't as innately talented as you, but does go out and consistently and persistently work on whatever the thing is in order to get themselves into a better position. And in order to do that, to keep up that consistency, you need to have a high degree of discipline, okay? And Goggins talks about this in terms of consistent effort, consistent putting in work, consistently over-delivering in terms of what you need to do. So if he had to run a marathon that was 50 miles, he would prepare by running 100 miles beforehand, okay? If he was going to be running in very hot temperatures, he would go out wearing full gear, carrying a pack on his back, wearing a hat, gloves, whatever, in the blistering heat in order to ensure that he was used to running in extremely high temperatures, maybe higher temperatures than he would have to run in the actual race or the actual event. So the point of this is that you've got to go out there and you've got to practice whatever the thing is that you want to get good at, and you've also got to ensure that you're prepared for all of the different eventualities that might come about. And the best way to do that is to over-prepare, okay? It's almost like throwing yourself into the most difficult social situations so that when you have to go and talk to somebody at a party where it's a relatively warm approach, maybe you guys know each other or you've been introduced or you kind of both know the person who's having the party or whatever, that conversation, that interaction is going to be so much easier, okay? Because you've already done something that is significantly harder, and you've probably more than once, you've consistently done things that are harder than that beforehand, okay? Again, though, it requires discipline, because as human beings, we kind of want to take the easy way out. All of us do, right? We kind of want to not have to, put in excess effort where it's not required. We certainly want to we don't want to do anything that's more difficult. than the thing that we know we're finally going to be asked to do. But this is the way that we achieve mastery, okay? Now, again, pulling this back to a dating and relationships context, because obviously that's mainly what we're here to discuss, what this really means is that you need to be prepared to go out consistently and to socialize with other people consistently, even when perhaps you don't particularly want to, even when you feel somewhat intimidated by the milieu in which you are socializing, even when it's not an ideal approach situation. So maybe there are a lot of people around, or maybe there are a group of friends surrounding the woman that you want to get to know, or maybe there are some male friends around her as well, okay? Very, very challenging situations. And are all of those interactions going to result in you getting a phone number, getting a date or whatever? Probably not, but that's kind of not really the point. The point is to practice. The point is to throw yourself into those uncomfortable situations so that when life presents you with a far easier opportunity, which will happen because they come about all the time as well, they probably come about more frequently than the really difficult opportunities, then you're going to be that much better prepared, okay? So having the stones to do that, having the raw discipline to do that, to make yourself do that, is the key thing. And as I was saying yesterday, the video that we put out yesterday when we were discussing endurance, a lot of this really comes down to your why. A lot of this really comes down to understanding and internalizing precisely why it is that you want this thing so much, whether that is dating success, or having a great circle of friends, or having an incredibly successful business, writing a book, whatever it is, right? You've got to know your why. And once you know your why and you stick yourself on that journey, then you're less likely to give up. Because in that moment, when things are really difficult, when things are really tough, and you think, oh, sod this, why the hell am I even doing this? What's the point of this? Then you will remember your why. It's because in 5 years' time, I want to be here. In 10 years' time, I want to be here. Whatever, right? And that will spur you on. But a why isn't always quite enough to instill discipline. You've also got to fall in love with the process as well, okay? And this is where guys will do day game for a few weeks and then they'll say, well, it doesn't work, it's a scam, whatever, because they have done 12 approaches, as we had a guy on a live stream saying recently. He'd done 12 approaches, he hadn't got any success, and so he was asking if he should give up. Well, I'm sorry, but 12 conversations in the big scheme of things is not even a grain of sand on the beach in terms of social interactions. It's not about, right, I've done 12 conversations, didn't get any success. What is success anyway, right? What is success anyway? Does he mean he didn't become intimate with a woman off the back of those 12 interactions? Well, boo-hoo, right? So what? You know? Does he mean that all of them told him to go away and that they hated him and that they never wanted to see a person who looked like him ever again? Maybe, he didn't say, but what's more likely is that there were a variety of responses. Maybe some of them were quite harsh, maybe others were less harsh, maybe some were even quite encouraging, but they didn't lead to the ultimate destination that he was hoping for. So he's putting them down as failures, but that's a mistake, all right? It's a mistake to think of anything that you do as a failure, because you're either going to get the thing that you want or you're going to learn from it, okay? And sure as hell he would have learned from some of those interactions without a doubt. Now, it may have helped him to have had a mentor there, to have had a look at what he was doing and sort of drawn his attention to certain aspects that he could have improved, but nevertheless he would have learned something, and that experience is valuable. But ultimately, you've got to just enjoy this stuff. You've got to enjoy, in the context of dating and relationships, you've got to actually enjoy talking to people. You've got to be interested in other people, right? You know, if you're not interested in this woman that's standing in front of you that you're talking to, beyond the physical, beyond the sexual, then why should she really want to have anything further to do with you? Now, obviously, if you're the Chad, if you're at the Cancun phone party, yes, those rules get suspended somewhat, but, you know, in general, having some sort of interest in the people that you're dealing with over and above the bestial is the best way to proceed, right? And if you don't have that, you've got to find a way to develop that, okay? You've got to find a way to fall in love with the adrenaline rush that you get when you start conversations with new people that you don't know. You've got to fall in love with the skill set required to improvise on the spot, to have those conversations, to come up with funny, witty, interesting things to say. You've got to fall in love with the onus being on you in terms of pushing things forward, okay? You've got to fall in love with the whole process and not mind which way it goes. Be outcome independent, okay? And if you could do that, and you can do that consistently, and that is that putting in discipline, then you're going to be in a good position, or you're going to be in a much better position than you would have been otherwise. Another point on discipline, I would say, is that if you can make a game of it, gamification, that's a really powerful tool, okay? You have your target for the week for how many hours you want to do in the gym, or how many miles you want to do running, or how many conversations with new people you want to have in the week, and you make a note of it and you stick to that, and you say to yourself, listen, whatever happens, come what may, I'm going to stick to this because I've made myself this challenge. It's a little game that you're playing with yourself, and the only opponent that you have is yourself. You're playing against yourself. You're playing a mind game with yourself, okay? That makes it more fun. That makes it more of a game. It makes it more something that gives you a little bit of entertainment as well. Really, really key thing. But discipline, ultimately, in almost any area that you can think of, is more important than raw talent. Raw talent is a great thing to have, and if you've got it in a particular area, then that's great, and I congratulate you. But understand that you've got to do something with that. You know, you get very, very good looking guys who are jacked and all the rest of it, and they don't have the kind of relationships that they want to have, right? Well, why is that? It should have just come to them on a plate, shouldn't it? Well, no, because they haven't got the social skills, if they're not used to dealing with the opposite sex, if they're not used to getting into these socially awkward situations, they can fall flat on their faces like a pancake, and that's not where you want to end up, all right? So raw talent is great, but you need to do something with it. That requires discipline. Start putting in the disciplined efforts today, all right? Anyway, I'm going to leave it there for now. Hope you enjoyed the video. Please hit subscribe to the channel. Hit the notifications bell as well, and if you want to read my work about dating game, the dating marketplace and so on, grab Renegade Dating Blueprint, which is my collection of 11 books on those subjects. Hit the link below in the description to this video and you will get instant access to those wonderful books. I'll see you again very soon. Bye bye.